Yeah, yeah. No. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Hanging Out with Temi. On Hanging Out with Temi, my name is Temi Ajayi, and I've got Liz Greatness. How are you doing, Grace?
Hi, Temi. I'm fine. Thanks. How are you?
Pretty well, pretty well. Gonna talk about something, but let's welcome our viewers. If you're a
Yes.
time first timer, thank you for tuning in. And if you are returning, we say thank you for always returning. Our good friend is launching her book today. Congratulations to Debbie Obatoki. Wish I'm there, but I can't come there. Congratulations, girl. We celebrate you. And so she won't be here. She's always number one on the show watching us. She probably will sneak out from
Yeah.
to watch. But these are the people, we celebrate you. Well
That's
done.
right.
And congratulations. But Liz, what is this
Yep.
being about?
I
Agreement of
don't
the
know. We probably have the right of way these days.
I know. I think it was something before it was something. I'm like, wow, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Uh,
we're quite telepathic.
yeah, telepathic. Yeah.
Yeah. Very,
Tele
very.
agreement of the mind.
Yes.
Fantastic. How have you been? I can't see you. I'm a little bit higher somehow, you know.
Am I low? I think I am. See, my horn is almost stitching outside of the camera.
It could be my
Yeah.
glasses. I don't know what I see with these glasses. I've changed twice, but anyway, it's good to see you, Liz, to be smiling
Yeah.
because I tell you what, even though you try to fight these things that are happening, you don't know if to be upset, you don't know if to be numb to it, but somehow you just get some sort of influx of things that if you be how do I want to say, if you're too quiet and be indifferent, so to say, then it's like you really cannot be indifferent because a lot of things are happening that is happening around you, it's happening to people, and vicariously it will happen to you as well. Like, for
It
example,
does. It does.
Nigeria is in a mess of, of a place as we speak. It's just
Mm.
bad. And so, even though I'm here, my people are there. We are like all the Nigerians are in Nigeria. So, you cannot say you're safe, you are in Australia, and thank God. That's not all. You have people, you have cousins, nephews, my father, my in laws, my mother, everybody, is there. You can't just be. So, I'm really not 100% happy with what is happening to Nigeria. And I know things are happening in Namibia as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Similar situation really. Our, with COVID in particular, our cases are skyrocketing, every day. If I wake up and I look at my phone, I'm like, oh my goodness, who left us again, that kind of a thing. Or if I go on Facebook, I'm just looking at whose RIP are we riding again, So it's just all over us, really. Just this week, I think I heard up to about 4 people again, and that I personally know, and then there's other people that I also read about in burials, and it's really a lot, and it's the how manyest week now, that we are going through that, and it's the same situation. So it does get to you, it really does,
Yeah,
without realizing that, we are connected to our people, so we don't realize how much these things really affect us actually.
Yeah, I think more so now, Liz, it's really affecting me more considering, my brother died of COVID. And so when we say people die in India, people die in Pakistan, people die in Africa like that, previously you just pray and then you let go. But now you realize that this, it will be affecting some people like it affected me, like
Mm-hmm.
it's affecting me now, it's affecting real people. So I
That's
guess
right. That's right.
we need prayers than ever before. We need prayer. Just
Mm.
pray that God should please have mercy and do something. COVID, terrorism, the rapists are all over the place, kidnappers. It's just, I don't know. I just have to pray for sanity every time. Like, God, you created these people for your own purpose and your own delight, and this is how people are devouring them. Like, God, please come, do something.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely what it is. And then, you've seen this guy who was saying he is the creator of the earth. Did I send you that video? He went to a COVID update in is it West or South Australia? A COVID update media briefing, and he
Yeah.
just hijacked the media briefing, yeah, and started talking about him being the creator of the earth, and he has come. He is God.
One man is sick. I'm sure. One man needs help. I feel sorry. You said, and he left his beard like Jesus. He's trying to impersonify Jesus. I'm like, no, you're not, honey. You're not. You're not Jesus. We know when he's here.
Yeah, that was
In saying
really
that,
interesting.
we really want Jesus to come anytime soon
Yeah.
because this thing is too much. But that's
My
not the
friend from Namibia was telling me she's praying for that, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" She says, "Yes. I mean, with all these things that are happening, what's the point? Let's
what's
just
the
go home."
we really and what's the point really is there's really nothing is set in concrete, nothing is predictable, and now we're injecting things in our body that is not even being verified. It's trial. How do you give something to people that is still under trial? Yeah.
And
Yeah,
apparently, it's going to be annually. So I
it's gonna
don't know about annually.
Yeah, because there's different strands. So whatever you use now is not killing Delta, it's killing, something else. And then there's Delta, and there's gonna be,
There's
more
Delta
here.
Plus now.
Aha. See, there's
There's
South
Delta
Africa.
Plus.
So then it's going to be yearly. But I don't mind, if things are being tested and tried and confirmed. But the medical
Mm.
authority now, they've gotten, a disclaimer. They're not going to be responsible for any adverse effect of this vaccine on our body. That's just what I think is actually not noble. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's right. But anyway, considering the amount, I don't know. We just need to let this pack it somewhere. We're done. We're done. So God should come basically quickly before.
Yeah.
Another thing you sent to me, I was going to talk about the one that they now cloning human being with animal
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
China.
apparently that's basically exactly for what you're talking about to be able to do the vaccine trials to some creature that is quite closely aligned in terms of DNA and all that to human beings. So
Oh,
yeah, that's that doesn't
so
sound good, but it's happening. It started apparently in China. So I don't know when these things grow and break out of those laboratories and start, you know, demanding for their rights and things. I don't want to be around when that happens. No, it's true. It's
when
true.
human, what we're talking about is human animal hybrid. It's happening now in China in laboratory, which we've seen the
Exactly.
except come out that they're doing hybrid. So which part of this is going to be human? Which part of this is going to be animal? This is crazy. So really, we need God. But anyway,
And the
Liz,
movies are already there. You know, they've already made movies about those hybrids, how they have actually um, um, come against humans in you know, having fights and wars against humans, you know, teaming up and trying to distinct humans out of the earth. There are such movies. There's this one, like, is it Sweet Tooth? If you check that on Netflix, there's that one as well. So there are quite a number of them anyway. So that's
so
already there, and I think in terms of thinking, you know, how far we can go. I'm sure I'm not going to be around that time, but
how far we?
mm,
I think, Liz, we need God. I'm telling you, we need God. And also, it just shows to say, if you see people and they come to you and they behaving weird and they behaving funny, don't take anything personal, because you don't know, you could be talking to an hybrid. So don't stay
exactly.
and be fighting and think this is total. God forgive. I think we need to go off this because it gets my head in. Let's go on a quick break and we'll be back for a lot of talk. We got a lot of talk today, and our topic is, how young would you go as a lady in choosing a life partner? So we got a robust conversation happening today. We go on a quick break and we'll be back. Welcome back on Hanging Out with Temi. My name is Temi Ajayi and Miss Greatness. On this show, today's topic is, how would you go as a lady in choosing a life partner? But before we go on to that, I think we've got a comment. Let's have a look at our comment that come through. Uh, Ngodi Babimbi. Auntie Temi, you are so inspiring and such a blessing for this journey. Oh, wow. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. My coach, Chris Jackson. Yay. Chris, you know Chris, don't you? Remember
Of course I
Chris?
do. I do.
Thank you, Chris, for tuning in today. I think 4 o'clock is good. And great topic, divine destiny. Thank you so much. And thank you, guys. At least you've got what you want going to share with us. What are you going to share with us?
Oh, was it about Bill Cosby?
Oh, you were talking about Bill Cosby. I haven't been following that Bill story. I knew when he was tried and arrested and all that for this indecency.
Yeah.
I don't know what has happened recently at all.
Oh yeah, no, he was released. I don't know whether what was it, last week that he was released, or was it during this week that he was released? I think there were some technicalities. Not that he was not guilty, but apparently he was made to. He wanted to plead the fifth, not to say anything during his trial, but they made him say that they made him agree that, you know, if he says something, he was not going to be jailed. And that's why he, you know, started talking and agreeing to some of the things that he agreed to. And in the meantime, I think the judge has changed. So the person who came disregarded the agreement that was made, and therefore they sent him to jail. You know, this is the layman's version now.
So
So
whatever he said was under duress. Was that what it was?
yeah, something like
Oh,
that.
all right.
So yeah, I think his lawyers picked that up and you know, either appealed or whatever, and then that's how he got released on those technicalities. Not necessarily that he's not guilty, but that's a bit of an uproar. You know, the Americans don't leave anything lying.
I know. I know, but
Yeah,
Bill Cosby is an old man, and
he
you know,
is.
what are they going to
Yeah.
do? And sometimes only God knows the truth, really. There's their truth,
Mm,
there's Bill's truth, and there's the truth in the middle. So who do we know?
yeah.
We don't know. I had something that I was going to share with us, like my there's something I was going to talk to you about, and I did put it down.
Mm,
Uh, but anyway, let us go to today's topic. If that comes to mind, I will get to it.
yeah.
Young, would young, how young would you go? How young would you go? How low would you go? I think first of all, we should talk about the purpose of union. Why do you come together as a unit? Why would you want to have a partner? I think that was what was coming to start with. I think to start a partner, you're looking for somebody who you're compatible with.
That's
However,
right.
there's a saying that love does not have boundary. There is no cage to love. So that's another topic, because if you say that, then you might say when you love, you can even forget your values. You can even forget.
Mm,
And there's a saying that can two come together except they agree. And so, what are you
that's right.
agreeing? What are you agreeing on? So compatibility, I think, is important. But I think for me, I will say my value will override, which is hard because I've seen a friend, she married this guy. They both know that the genotype was SS, ASA, what is it? I can't even think now. ASAS, and so they could have AA or they could have SS, but because they were, which is the type, maybe you have full bulletproof blood, or you might have a child with sickle cell anemia, but then
Mm,
SS, but because the love was strong, they married, you know, and then, whether they have SS or they don't have SS, but then at that time, they just, because they fell so much in love. You see, so love is crazy. It's really crazy. And so I think we need to be talking about love, that sometimes love alone is not enough ingredients in choosing a life partner. But enough of my blah, blah, blah. I'm just passionate about love story and love stuff. But ingredients of union, Liz, those things
yeah.
that for in a man for you to make, apart from the tall,
Yeah,
that
he's got to be tall and he's got that good morning.
I know you have things with your tallness. I know that.
He's got to have the voice, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway, those things to carry you away, that definitely weaken your knees, but you have to look a little deeper than that. As you rightly say, we really need to talk about love, because love alone is not enough. Love gets fed by quite a number of things. There are a number of things that makes you fall in love with this person, or that gives you those goosebumps about this person. And as life happens, those things could be affected. Global warming can come and take away.
yes. No.
Yes. So when that happens, you should have some other things that cements the union, and I think those are the things that we need to support our people who are going into union now these days to be able to look at, and that's it. As a matter of fact, as you have said, compatibility, and this compatibility must be on several fronts. How compatible are we in terms of the type of friends probably that we choose? How compatible are we in terms of the type of activities that we do? How compatible are we in terms of intellectually, perhaps, if that's really an important thing to you? How compatible are you in terms of your family values? How compatible are you in terms of how you deal with finances? In terms of just time, spending time together. What does romance mean to you? What does it mean to the other person? Those are the kind of compatibilities that needs to be identified and ironed out in advance. Not just approach with "I love the person," but really have that conversation. So that you know exactly where you stand with the person. And if you have that, then those become the pillars that are supporting your love. And I tell you, people like yourselves, with a beautiful love story, that's what we see when we look at you. How those relationships are supported by the values and how it flourishes, in the public eye. That's what we see, and that's what we want everybody to enjoy, because it is really a beautiful union, and love is a beautiful thing. But it can equally also go south if we don't have the support base right.
I like what you said, Liz. You were talking about the type of activity you engage with. Maybe you like squash and you both play squash, the family units, the background, intellectual. You did not mention the age. There's no age there.
And that's what we talk about now. You see, if you have seen, if you have identified this aspects that we, for instance, raising now, activities, what are your values around family? What are your values around, money? What are your values around, romance and the time we could spend together and all that? And this person is probably younger than you, and his idea of spending time together is, he needs to take you out and you guys go to this hotel and what, and there's no quality time in terms of maybe sitting down and really just talking about things that matter and connecting, intellectually and mentally. He's probably still too young for those. He just wants the, get into the Ferrari and open the how do you call that, roof,
Yes.
and have his woman stand outside, and he just wants to have you as a show off. Then it's superficial. It's a nice face. If you really have your girl that you're proud of, you can show her off even if she's older than you. But she also has got other needs where she just wants to sit down and really connect a little bit on a deeper side with you. So if you can iron those, gaps out, and in terms of, how you can combat that when it's not there, then I think you can go younger
You
if
can
you
go.
have what it takes. Yeah, I mean, if you figured out everything in terms of a conversation.
Yeah.
But also the other thing that I've realized is people are not what they say. So how much can you trust somebody in terms of what they say? This is who and what I am. Because the person that you talk to and the person that you go to live with become two different people sometimes. But that's the risk that we take.
Does that I like what you said, but does that has to do with age though? Because even older people can lie. They can tell you, I know where I come from. Sometimes people will have wife and then they have mistress, and the older people are they lying. There is a case recently in my country that a 21-year-old killed 50 something. So this 50 something is a man, a director of one media company or something like that. 51, married, maybe separated or something, but then going out with a 21-year-old. I'm sure, there's a couple of lies going there. God forgive me, I'm not there, I'm not judging. But I'm just trying to establish the fact that age does not determine who lies or who says the truth. So
Absolutely.
with everything you said, I said there's no age. Age has not come in. So where is this stigma? Where does it come from? Or is this stigma, is it actually localized? This stigma, is it localized or is it uh, nationwide? Or like, I'm older women marrying a younger man. Is it only in some people's head? Is it only in some environment, or is it everywhere? I think we're gonna get Josie on one a minute. Hey Josie.
Hi, how are you? Sorry. I
Yo,
just finished
yo,
working. How
yo,
are you?
someone like Josie, you think you see a 50-year-old woman, but hey, watch. She's not. She's like, yo, yo, yo.
I know,
So,
right?
yeah, welcome
Hi.
to those.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hi, Josie. Good, good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you.
That's
So, Josie,
beautiful.
we're just talking about age is a number, as people, as they say. But I tend to, correct me if I'm wrong. I tend to believe that this is, I think, is kind of sectional because age is a number. I'll get there in a minute. But Lisa has given us some of the characteristics of unit, how you engage, how you have a partner. So it has to be the people that you can engage together, you can have same activity intellectually, you're on the same
Mm,
level, you have good family value depending on what your values are, romance, finance, and everything. And she did not mention anything age. So I'm wondering, where is this stigma of age comes from? And is it only women? Because we've seen men that married women that are 20 years younger, and it's
Big
okay.
difference.
And it's not okay
exactly.
for a woman to marry someone younger. And now we're not talking about how young is the young, but where does this stigma comes? And I'm saying, is it only in some people's head? Is this been happening for a long time and it's allowed in some region, but it's not allowed in some region? What it is? Where do you? Because I check in the Bible, they did not say marry. That's my reference book anyway. So is this? Yeah, I'm trying to find out this stigma. Do you think? What do you reckon?
I think it's more from, I think from time anyway. It's known and accepted for men to marry, that men will marry women who are younger than them, maybe by 5, 10, 15, or even 20 years. But it wasn't the norm or heard of to say a woman marrying somebody younger. Uh, but now it's becoming more common. But again, it's also like a cultural thing, because if a man marries somebody who's younger, then that's okay. But a woman, all of a sudden, like, oh my God, she's a cougar. She's I don't know, looking for someone younger, like, but it's more acceptable when a man does it. But it's changing every
This,
day. It's becoming more acceptable now.
yeah, but you know what surprised me though is I was talking to a friend of mine a week ago or so, and then she was talking to me about you know um our son cannot marry someone older. And I said, so how old is old? And she said, oh, this girl is about a year or two older. But this woman is she's actually a big lady. She's extremely intelligent and she's top, top, top. And you're talking about 1 or 2 years. I was surprised. So I thought
Mm,
we need to talk about this. Um, I'm going to get to the question, will I allow my son to marry somebody who is 10 years younger? So I'm going younger than him. I'm going to get there. But I think 1, 2, 3 years old, it's nothing. Like now,
yeah.
my 17-year-old friend is the same friend as my 27-year-old daughter's friend. They're friends.
Mm,
So if we want to
yeah.
talk about that, my daughter, who is 27, should not be talking to a kid that is 17, 19, a girlfriend, I mean, or boyfriend. He talks to these little boys, they talk to him and say, hey man, hey mate. And sometimes like 27 is like 7 years older, or 10 years older. But in an environment where we're all equal, we're all friends.
Mm,
So then when it comes to you want to engage, then you can engage. What is that? And I thought this is really worth talking about.
yeah. I
You
mean, I
know,
think, like, yeah, like Liz mentioned, it depends if there's some compatibility and there's understanding, because sometimes, I don't know, people say age is nothing but a number, but I think it depends on the individual really. But I don't think 1 year or 2 years is that bad to say someone is older. You know,
I don't
if they're
even
getting
look
along well. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, 1 or 2 years should be okay, I think. But it depends on individual thing, you know. But then, yeah, like you said, we don't know how it is. If it's your child marrying somebody who's older, then there's a lot more to think into that.
I didn't talk to my son about this, but I'm sure he's gonna be watching the show. Then he's gonna say, "Mom, what are you talking about?" But I need him to hear my point of view.
Mm,
Um, Gone are the days when you say, and we need to find out the reason why the men marry 5, 6 years old in those days. They married them because they want to feed them. They married them younger because they're looking for a kid that they want to send an errand.
mm,
Somebody that they, that patriarchy kind of world that we were in those days, that they just need somebody to be an errand. What is the reason why the men marry somebody 20 years old? Are they needing for someone that will come and serve their table and say, "Sir,"
yeah.
that is the reason why these things was happening then, I reckon. But let us talk about, at least you were going to say something.
Yeah, I want to say, even back then, there were people, there were women who were marrying younger. It wasn't from the few that I know, at least it wasn't 10 years younger. But some women have married young. Like my own mother, is currently 5 years older than my father.
See?
So, but it wasn't spoken about. It's now that we know, but back then we didn't know because,
Mm,
the women played their role. They did what they could, best at that time in terms of respect and, being humble and taking care of the kids. There was no competition in terms of I'm older than you, therefore you should.
mm,
We didn't see that. And I think that's the reason why it wasn't evident in the public eye that this guy has gone older. It always looked like, the man is older. And that's the reason why now that the women are liberated. They don't care how old they are. If a woman is
mm.
50 years old, she says she's 50. When our mothers were turning 50, they were not talking about it.
Don't even
They
say
were not celebrating how they age. But now, women put up a party and invite everybody to see how they look at 50, and, and they don't even mind if the person that they are dating at that point is younger than them. It's out in the open, but it comes with the liberation that women, have over the years, gotten into, and also the aspect of wellness. I think the women of this age, is it the 21st century women, they are absolutely into wellness. They know how to take care of themselves.
yeah.
If you put, rarely will you see, if you put a 50-year-old woman and a 50-year-old man side by side,
Don't you dare.
you you will probably agree with me why she would go
Mm,
younger.
I know.
Because
Come on, man.
true.
the type of time and effort a woman would put into her wellness as she
Mm,
ages,
Yeah.
with the liberation that we have gotten into, and how we know about we want to take care of ourselves, and where we have left our male counterparts. Those are two different places.
You're very, very correct. There's a popular pastor in Nigeria, Pastor Reverend Funke Adejumo. The husband is like maybe 9 years or 7 years older than her. She looks, the, they look like the same age, but that
mm,
man is far older. But like she looks, and she's very young. So you want to go
Mm.
younger. So I know what you're saying, because the women. So am I even saying the reverse? But anyway, it doesn't matter what age. I'm trying to say you're younger than your man. You can meet at par as well. You can just carry yourself and you look the same.
mm,
But Let us go on a quick break because I've got some comment that I want to read here, and also another lady that said something to me. Uh, we'll go on a quick break and I'll be back. Welcome back on Angular with Temi. Our conversation today, we're discussing about how young would you go as a lady using your life partner. And if you've got some stories you want to share with us, could you share that with us? I think we've got a comment here from Samuel Olukayode. 35 years ago, my dad married my mom and she was 2 years older than my dad. God bless you. This is what I'm
Hmm.
saying, that sometimes you don't, if there's no avenue for us to share, you don't know.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
why it's very important for us to share. I think Yanko, hi ladies, hi Yanko. A lady from Nigeria told me her mom was 9 years older than the father. 9 years in Nigeria, I mean,
Yeah.
like in the 50s. She's here in Australia. She comes to our church, by the way, and she was telling me, but we lie and we don't, not that we lie, we don't know that these things are happening. And that's what I'm saying, that we really need to be talking about what is happening. But the
Yeah.
other thing I was going to, oh, hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
We really need to be talking about this. If you have, Anna is saying something. She said, I think love does not matter with age. There you go.
Yeah.
I
True.
think so too, because sometimes you marry 40-year-old who is not even as wise as, 30 years old, behave like a kid.
Hmm.
So I don't think age determines the amount of wisdom that you have, Ayana. So, but in let us talk about what are the possible risks that could be associated with an established woman marrying a younger person.
Hmm.
I think people will be thinking about manipulation. And I say every woman is known to have the capability to manipulate anyway.
Hmm.
Whether I marry 100-year-old, I can still manipulate you as a woman.
Hmm.
Not manipulation in terms of that, but God has given us this
It's
wit.
influence. We are
Hmm.
very influential. Yeah.
Exactly. So why are we scared that if our son marries somebody who is younger, they're going to manipulate? But we're manipulating our own husband, by the way, or your mother is manipulating your father, whatever his age it is. And so I'm just wondering, what are the things that could make us as women, parents, scared that if our son marries someone who is younger, they will manipulate? What are those things that could be our fear?
You know what I think when it comes to manipulation is, are we saying that the younger women are manipulative or the older women are manipulative?
I think all women have the capability to manipulate.
Mm.
Like in those days, your husband, you tell your husband the upkeep for the house is $200, but the actual fact is the amount for the upkeep is 100. You inflate the price and say, inflation is in town now, it's 200, but it's actually 100. These are the ways of manipulating. Or you might dry clean your husband's clothes and just go and wash it nicely with your hand, and he say, oh, it's $200 for dry cleaning. All
Hmm.
these things, I don't know if it's, I think it's a borderline between lying and manipulation, but I think every woman have got the capability to manipulate, either young or old. But when your son or your brother marries someone who's young, we will just automatically think, oh, she's going to manipulate him now. That's what I'm
Mm.
saying. But we all manipulate as women anyway. Is
Yeah.
that not true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thinking, particularly when it comes to younger, is, there's something called the psychological age of a person
Yes.
and the real age of a person. Psychologically, they say women are 5 years older than the men. So if both the two of you are like 20 years old, psychologically, in terms of maturity and intellectually, your daughter is 25, is actually 25,
Yes.
and the boy is 20. So
Yes.
we mature a little bit earlier or faster than our male counterparts. So in that regard, maybe as parents, that's probably the outlook. I mean, and I'm really speaking under correction because I have, when it comes to your children, I mother at arm length, and therefore it's not a heartfelt, close to my heart, really into it kind of a perspective. But I've got a theoretical base and conspiracy theories and
That's true.
yeah. So what I will say is, as you correctly said, all women are manipulative,
Mm.
and I think we should probably not look into it as a manipulation as such, because how you see it is based on your worldview. Could be based on what you have gone through as a woman in your own, probably marriage, or what was happening around you in terms of what you saw the women were doing. And because of that, you are projecting this onto your son or your daughter. And that makes you think, there's going to be manipulation here. What if this is a beautiful thing?
Yeah. True. That's
and
true.
and and,
Yeah.
and in this day and age where we would rather empower our children to choose their life partners based on the real issues and not necessarily on how old they are, because age really does not necessarily determine a choosing criteria. Age is one of the last things that you should look at.
Yeah.
So rather empower the children, or your relatives, to be able to choose a life partner based on the real issues and aspects of compatibility, aspects that can really cement the relationship, instead of having a negative approach and breaking this thing right from the start before it even blossoms.
That's true. I like what you said, because sometimes we don't see the beauty that could come out
Mm.
of the relationship. We just break it and say, "No, you're marrying Kluger." And at least you gave the boys another name. They call Ben 10.
Brent.
Apparently,
Ben 10.
Ben 10, meaning they're still playing with a toy or something. Hey,
Oh.
we've got some comment coming from Anna. Good message, pastors. I love. Thank you.
Mm.
And then I think women mature can make marriage better, but she needs to respect him is the key. I believe so
Mm.
too. I
Yeah.
respect, yeah, I agree. And then don't marry a man if you can. So Anna is, yeah. A woman should respect her husband and honor him command. That's true.
Mhm.
I think generally, whether old, young, man is the head of the family. I agree. In
Mm.
terms of, must have a direction. If you are going to, which we know, this is all is being universally analyzed. If you married a man, according to the Bible, it says you're a helpmate. So if the man hasn't got anything that he's doing, a woman will be useless. You're not going to be able to help him. You might be a rich woman, you might be whatever, and it doesn't matter who you marry. A man is a man. So you need to
Mm.
be able to, if you cannot respect a man, I know, don't marry. And I think the major part of this problem is is that we have universally is respect.
Mm.
We don't want, even if the man is old, we always say it doesn't matter. You could be 100 years. Since I marry you now, I'm 50. I'm your wife, and I have no respect for you.
Mm.
So what I'm trying to say, you can marry old man and still don't respect.
Yeah.
So if you marry a man that you cannot respect, then that's not good. The other thing I see is the vision, which is part of what I've just said. If the man has no vision, he's not going anywhere. He's just going to be a toy boy. And so you don't want to go to a toy boy set. That is not a marriage. That is an abuse. That is an abuse. The other
Mm.
thing that I thought about is, if the woman wants to marry and the boy is not ready. I guess if you're married a matured woman, you have to know, why did I say boy? You don't marry as a boy. I beg your pardon. You marry you marry a man, a boy, because we know marriage is not for boys and girls, it's for men. So don't let us talk about boys, because then it boils down to an abuse, really. And so I also thought about, what age are we talking about? So if we're talking about 2018, maybe that's not good. I don't know. This is me being biased.
Mm.
So you're thinking about this marriage, if you want to marry a younger boy, do you go to where the gap is not going to even be significant? Like
Mm.
31, 28, or I mean, or 33, 31. You know,
Mm.
what do you reckon, Josie? Does that matter? I think the starting point of the age matter, not boys, not little kids. In
Mm.
terms of the teachers going out marrying their school students, I think that's disgusting. Anyway, the consequence
Mm.
is that you're going to jail.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
no,
do
that one is
that,
breaking
that's not what
physics.
we're talking about.
No, 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 that one's breaking boundaries and it's illegal. Um, so in terms of adults, so are you saying like how much gap should there be between marrying a younger person, like a woman marrying someone younger than her? So like
Yeah,
if
I'm
it's
thinking you have
30,
to go over 30 bracket, or to 30, then early, like, so if it's 55, 52, you are
yeah,
both over 50. If
yeah,
it's 40, 38,
mm,
37, even, is that, would that be, I don't know, I'm just trying to rationalize why.
yeah. I mean,
Which,
it depends on, yeah. I mean, if it's not too much of a gap, it should be. I mean, I think it's okay, but it really depends on the individual. Because I know someone who married somebody younger, and this I'm talking from back, which was very surprising because this was more or less, yeah, back home, and she had 4 kids, so I'm assuming she probably was in her 40s at that time because I went to school with her daughter who was maybe 12 or so at the time, so she must have been in her 40s because her older daughter was like in university. So, and she met this man, and I'm assuming he was in his 30s. I don't really know how. I always said when I go home, I'll ask my mother how old. But they were together.
uh,
But the thing is, they was this stigma, and they were saying like, "Oh my gosh, she's bewitched him. How can a young guy like this be with this woman?" You know what I mean? When they're all young girls out there, this and that. But you know what? Long story short, she had a 5 kids. She had already separated from someone, and then she met this young man, and even when till today they're still together, and this is over 30 years, if not more, because this was when I met them together when I was growing up, and when I go home they're still together. I always visit them when I go home, and no, he
that's
didn't have
sweet.
any kids. He helped her raise her kids, and people just know them now as this loving couple. But I can imagine how difficult it was when they first got together. And I'm sure there's a good at least, I think it's safe to say there's at least 10 years between them. But there was a
Wow.
drastic difference when they were younger. Yeah, and they're still together. They're still
You
together.
see,
mm.
Yeah.
that's
So
what I'm
it depends. Mm.
Yeah,
uh,
it can happen. It really
Mm.
can happen. I also know at least up to three couples who, have really gotten married with significantly younger boys, younger men,
Mm.
and it's just beautiful to see how this let me call them boys, how they have taken up their responsibility and
Mm.
really grown into a man in that marriage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you see them today, you will not think in terms of, when they started, how young the boy was. You're like, how could this lady marry this guy, really? But
Yeah.
eventually, with the necessarily support that the woman gives and the respect that comes together with that,
Yeah.
you mold your men into a man, and they really come out quite impressively,
Mm.
manly.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Because I actually have actually speaking of that, I just remembered I have a friend in Canada. She's 53, and she's because she was telling me about this guy she met who's 45. And she's like, this guy is really nice. He brings flowers. He takes me to dinner. He's not pressuring me to anything. But I just think he's young. Well, I don't understand. How can I be with somebody who's so young? You know. So she'd be saying like, I really like him. He's nice. He doesn't bring any nonsense to me. Like he comes shopping. We've been to dinner. But I just don't like. I just don't get it. Like he's a young guy. So I managed to speak to him the other day, and he was saying like, look, I really love your friend, but I thought he was just gaslighting, saying, oh yeah, I love her, and saying all the right things. But I'm saying, but what makes it different from all these young, good-looking
Yeah.
young girls? He says, look, I have plans of my life. I've been there, done that. I've dated younger girls. I'm too old. I don't want to be going to parties. I don't want somebody to, when I'm talking to somebody, start being disrespectful and say, oh my God, you're talking to this person. I'm looking for a matured woman, who's got focus, who's got a plan already, most of these young people. And I'm like, oh, so he did put some good high. I was even asking if he's got a friend, but he had some good, really, thinking like, no, I want someone mature. Like he says, you'd be surprised, but not all men want, like younger people, because most of these young people, they got this microwave mentality. They don't believe in hard work. They don't believe in, some of them can't even cook. Some of them can't even, what I mean, have a proper conversation. You can't even take them anywhere and, talk about stuff. So it was really interesting. So I don't know, but
But
yeah, she seems to
40,
like it.
48 years old. 48 is almost 50. So that's not young. This is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. That's
yeah,
not young,
yeah. His
to
was
50, whatever.
wasn't it? Yeah, they're not much difference because it's only about five years
You
between them.
see?
Yeah,
And I like that Luca that just said, in like how many years ago, 35 years ago, the mother was 2 years younger. And Lee
yeah,
says something, in the time of our mother, we don't say our age, remember?
yeah.
When you say,
Exactly. So
Mom,
you don't even
how old
know.
are you? I ask my
Mm,
mom, how old are you? How old am I? You never say.
mm,
In fact, even when we came, like, even when we grown up, I know even my kids were asking, Mom, how old am I? Are you? I'm like, don't tell everybody my age. Why do you have to
yeah,
know? We don't talk about age. So age was not the issue at the
yeah,
time. So
yeah,
now we just make it an issue. So as family, sometimes we can damage something that God created to be beautiful and good because of our biases and our little truth. And it might
yeah,
not be the absolute truth. Some younger boys are extremely intelligent and extremely wise, and they will match up with you. And like when we
yeah,
say the women, we can go high, we can go low. You marry old man, I can become old tomorrow. I marry a younger boy, I can go to the age tomorrow. Depends.
mm,
Women we just fit in properly. So
yeah,
I think we should, and thank you to the people that have commented. I think someone, Ruth, intriguing topic. Hey Ruth,
Hi,
intriguing
Ruth.
topic. That's for you ladies. An older woman can handle marriage better, I believe.
mm.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because, like, if you've been through a lot in your life as a man, like what you just told us, Josie, maybe the younger girls, you've been spending so much money in buying weave on for them and do whatever.
Mm,
You saw me at a time, is that I'm done. Let me just get a woman. But with
yeah,
an old woman, we talk about the risk that the guys might face marrying older women. We don't even think about the stigma that is there for an older woman as well, because people say the older woman will be scared as well, that maybe because I'm rich, I'm comfortable, that's why this boy want to abuse me too, just to steal my money and run
yeah,
away. You know what I mean? And I know a friend of mine was talking to me once in Nigeria and said, the time, there was a boy that used to come to their TV station. She works at a TV station. There was a boy that used to come there to help the staff to do something. And then he says one day, this boy, this is a good story. This boy always come to help. And then there was a time he helped a friend of my friend, a lady, and put things in the car, and is always interested in this, my friend's friend. Okay. So one day my friend's friend was sick. She wasn't at work. This boy came to report at its television station as he does. And he says, "Oh, so where is this person?" And they said, "She's sick today." And he goes, "Oh, wow, she's sick. She always cares. She always kind to the gate people, the gate man. When it comes, she's such a good woman. May I get where her address is so I can visit her?" This happened in Nigeria. Okay, so you are allowed to give people's phone number. So they gave the number. She rang. This boy rang, get this girl's address. But anyway, one day this boy turned up at my friend's house, and then and they became friendly. But this boy was younger, and he was even poor. And now today they married, and they're together, and are at the same level, because this boy is very hardworking, very wise, very focused. Even though he's got project that he's doing, he doesn't care to help them do little work at the station, get some money while he's pursuing his PhD. You know what I mean? Very humble, very focused. Anyway, today they're together, and they've been together for a long, long time. So this story was shared with me for a long time ago. So I just want us to think about what we're thinking about. And sometimes you might think what you're thinking is what everybody is thinking, or your own idea is everybody's idea. It might not just be everybody's idea. It could just be you. Because I know people from my village, as a woman, that marry somebody who is older, but we're scared about our family, and then we ruin relationship. But anyway, Ruth just says something here. I want us to see. She said, "Maturity does not always come with age, and most ladies married to younger men do not have inhibitions that older men who are set in their minds regarding exactly." Some people are very rigid and set in their mind. We know them. Thank you so much, Ruth. I'm being mindful of time. That's why I'm rushing. So basically, Ben 10 is okay. Ben 10 is okay. I don't want to be. Sorry, Liz. So, Liz, on mute. Yeah.
I want to make a contribution to that.
Yes.
And these are very famous people. I need to say this. The president of France.
Mm-hmm. The young man.
That's correct. Him and his wife, there's a 25-year gap between those two people.
What?
Yes. And I've quickly Googled it because I know that. I know their story, and I needed to have the facts right. I just want to read this sentence. At the age of 40, Bridget met the 15-year-old Emmanuel Macron in La Providence High School in the year 1993, where she was a teacher and he was a student and a classmate of her daughter, Lawrence. In 2006, she divorced her husband and married Macron.
Wow.
Today, they are still married. They got married in 2007. They are still married, and the guy is the president. I mean, how smart was that move?
I know, right?
Like you were saying, when you marry younger, you even look younger. You've got that youthfulness that comes through. And all. I mean, if you look at Bridget, she looks 25.
I know is Cruz. What's this guy from New Zealand? Not Tom Jack. What's his name? Not Tom Cruise. What's that guy?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman's wife is older than him too. A lot of people and they're best friends and they work together. Look at Hugh. Hugh looked like he's even older than the woman. Like you know what I'm saying. So that brings me to the idea of prejudice. Sometimes if the person is the boy is young, if the boy is younger and rich, would you say don't marry? Maybe you say, come on, go marry. Who doesn't want to marry Hugh Jackman? Who cares his age?
You know.
So really we gotta be, yeah, we gotta be somebody. One guy was talking that if there's a theory that is not tested, that is not proven, it's worthless. So if you don't know if it's just if the research has not been tested and properly researched, don't say it's correct or it's not correct. And there's a saying that I always go through, that school life is a school of one, where
Mm,
it's just your class. There's no classmates in life. You never know. You really never know. And that's why I really love this show. Let us tear that down. And one of the reasons why I thought this topic is important, you know what, ladies? Sometimes we say men prejudiced against us, men, we fight for what we're fighting for. We women sometimes are the one that are talking all this blah 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 and putting people down and breaking people's marriages and relationship because of things that you're not thinking about.
mm,
You're not thinking about, if you want freedom, then stop putting another woman down, marry, or another man down. Anyway, don't put anybody down, just mind your business,
That's
stay
right.
on your own business, because you really don't know what got people into what they got into. You understand? So face your business. If you want to fight, stop fighting men and say men are doing this, and what are we doing as a woman? If it's okay for a man to marry somebody who is 20 years younger, I don't see the reason why a man cannot marry somebody who is 2, 3 years younger. As long as they have the same values, they have the same vision, they're on the same line together. Do not align anyone. That's what I want to say. It's in the school of one. Mind your business and don't get into other things. We don't know why they got into what they got to. Please, this topic I think is very interesting, and I think
Yeah.
we've made our points known. So we're going to have to round it up tonight because we've got African celebration we have to go to, and a few other things lined up, some secret things happening tonight that we have to be part of as well. So we're going to have to call it a day on this segment. Josie, thank you so much. Yeah, that your celebrity is what? 10 years younger. It's always good to have you, Josie, all the time
oh,
and
it was
every
a
time.
pleasure.
We really appreciate it. His greatness.
Thank you, guys.
Ben
Yeah,
10.
well, to me, I can only say really, life is worth living, and you really have no idea in which pocket of life you're gonna find your happiness. So we should really allow each other to, live our lives to the fullest, and enjoy our journeys, however it unfolds for ourselves, and be happy
Yeah.
for each other. Because whichever way you look at it, it is a risk. Something may look solid today, and before you know it, it breaks a leg tomorrow, and then it doesn't look as beautiful as you probably wanted from the beginning. So we really should allow each other to take the risk that we need to take, a calculated risk for that matter it is, and let people be happy. We only live once.
Mm. Let people be happy. I can't emphasize that enough. Let people be happy. Josie, you got something to say before we go?
No, just like you saying, like you never know. There are people who marry people who are younger than them or older than them, and still things don't work out the way they want. So, there's no harm in trying or dating someone, as long as they got the best of intentions. And yeah, and I just want to know. You never answered the question what you would do if your son wanted to marry an older woman.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. If my son
Yeah.
wants to marry an older woman, if the woman is matured, smart, intelligent,
Yeah.
on on the same level as him, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Maybe 10 years might be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But in saying that, if the woman is intelligent, is smart, have the same value, my son is very godly, so the woman
Mm.
has to fear God and needs to be also be able to respect and honor, because
Yeah.
head the head, your neck, you're together, but you still have to honor. I will not stop my son if the woman is wise, because
Mm.
otherwise, if I don't even think I can stop him for anything. By the way, I can encourage, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is I'm not going to encourage him against it. If that woman is
Mm.
smart, value on the same level, please, son, go ahead. Nobody cares about age.
Yeah.
I was Ephesians 5:31 said, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." He didn't say, look at the age. But as a man, you need to have something in your hand that that woman has to work with you on. If you don't have anything, if you're just running like a puppy or bent behind the woman, then that's not good.
Yeah.
So if you have something in your hand and the woman can work with you on your project or your vision, then I'll say go ahead. Thank you for saying that. Really, I will not. I will encourage my son. If this woman, you know what you know your value, you're set, you understand. I'm
Yeah.
not going to discuss. We're gonna love you all the same. I don't care about age in terms of that, but you need to leave me and establish yourself, and the woman needs to meet you as someone
Yeah.
who is going somewhere. So, son, this is it. You got it from me on the national TV now.
It's out in the open.
Start in the
It's out in the
open,
open.
and the woman, if you're there and you're looking at my son and you can match him intellectually, spiritually, on every level, come
Emotionally.
on.
Yep.
Emotionally, give me a shoebi. I'm coming.
And I really think it doesn't matter if the lady has a child, or
Say
if the
again.
guy, it doesn't matter if the lady has a child, even. We were talking about age, but the other issue is about also children.
Yeah.
Some ladies have got children and a child. And even in that, really, if you want to marry this person, you found that wisdom and whatever else you're looking for in this person, go ahead. Where should we take the children now?
That's
Mm.
another topic for another day, because that's another topic for another day. I'm also, because what we talk on the show is what we're dealing with personally and what we see happening around us. And so
Yeah,
we research, we pray, we do whatever, and then we get the conviction in our heart to come on the show to talk our own view about it. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at that. Enough of women putting women down and then
that's
fighting
right.
men and said men. So
Absolutely.
this is the feminist. You don't know what you're doing ignorantly or unknowingly, and you're putting yourself down and you're fighting the men and said it's the men. I think we should start talking about ourselves and just leave the men alone.
That's
We
right.
can do it. Woman power. We can do it.
Absolutely. We can do it.
And,
We build
so
each other up with people.
we challenge our brain and we question our heart. What are you
Yeah.
doing to put humanity
Yeah.
down? We're going to have to see how we don't want to go, but we're going to go. We see you next week. If there's more comments, please keep it going. Like us, subscribe to us, and share. Anna and everybody, Ruth, everyone that is contributed today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. God bless you, Yanko, and my friend Ingon. God bless you. Until next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.